George Bilecki here with NESN Patriots beat reporter Zach Cox. It's on to week 3 for the Patriots as they get ready to head down to New York, their first away game of the season, but facing the Jets. Zach, another tough test for them. 0-3 could loom on the corner because they're playing an elite defense, but a big return to practice today. Big number 77, Trent Brown, back practicing with the team after not doing so at all last week, suffering a concussion.
Yeah, Trent Brown seemingly out of concussion protocol. The fact that he was back on the field today is a phenomenal sign for the Patriots offensive line. It's not hyperbole to call him one of the most important players on this entire team. Patriots seemingly recognized that when they reportedly gave him a little bit of a pay raise last night, added a couple extra million in incentives to his contract. And, I mean, we'll see how things shake out over the rest of the week, but it seems like a good chance that the Patriots will have as close to their preferred starting 5 offensive line as they could get at this point, which is going to be a very big step in the right direction for them up front after the way that unit has played in week 1 and especially in week 2. They got Michael Onwenu and Cole Strange back in that game, but both of them looked like they were shaking off some rust. Onwenu wasn't able to finish the game. Strange had some issues. You get both of them kind of after a week of playing, knocking off some of that rust. You get Trent Brown back out there. I think you're in much better shape going up against, as you said, a very talented Jets defense.
Yeah, for sure. Trent Brown, to me, the linchpin of this offensive line. It all hangs on him. Stowe did a good job against the Dolphins. It was more of the right tackle and the guards, as you mentioned, especially going up against Quinnen Williams, John Franklin Myers, Jermaine Johnson. Ezekiel Elliott said it to me and goes, they got a D-line that goes like 8-9 deep, rotating. Robert Saleh brought over that rotation, fresh legs from his 49ers days.
Yeah, and Ezekiel Elliott also, in a pretty telling comment, he was asked what needs to go right for the Patriots running game to get going a little bit. So we have to win at the line of scrimmage. Yep. And that basically means our offensive line needs to play better. You mentioned Vidarian Lowe, the guy who replaced Trent Brown in this last game. I thought he was pretty solid overall, but he also was the player that allowed the sack on Mac Jones on that final Patriots drive, which really put them in a tough situation. Trent Brown is just such a valuable player for this team. They got to get him back on the field.
There's a reason they keep adding those incentives to him. All right, now, I know it's Zach Wilson under center. I'm still saying, I mean, he still looks bad, overwhelmed, terrible, but he looks a little bit better. You still got to stop Garrett Wilson. You still have to stop that offensive attack. Another big boost. Jonathan Jones back at practice after not playing on Sunday night.
Yeah, he was back on the field. He suffered an ankle injury midway through last week. Initially didn't seem all that serious, but he wasn't able to practice last Friday, wasn't able to play in this game. The Patriots, for most of this game, were down 3 of their top 4 cornerbacks with no Jonathan Jones, no Jack Jones, and then Marcus Jones suffering a shoulder injury during the second quarter. He did not practice today, so we don't know what his status is. But if you do have Jonathan Jones back on the field for this game, that's a huge boost for the Patriots defense. I mean, Christian Gonzalez is really saving this cornerback group so far. If he wasn't performing to the level that he has so early in his Patriots career, I don't know where they would be from a pass defense perspective. I thought he played great against Tyreek Hill in that offense the other day, but they basically only had 3 available cornerbacks for most of that game. One of them was Miles Bryant, who was playing out of position on the outside. One of them was Shaun Wade, who has basically been a healthy scratch for 90% of his NFL career. So getting Jonathan Jones, pair him back with Christian Gonzalez, you're in a much better spot right there.
Yeah, this is a game that it's not a must-win this early in the season, but 0-3.
It's pretty close.
Exactly, especially with the Cowboys looming after they face the Jets. But before we get that far ahead, a guy we're hoping to see return to the field this Sunday when they're playing down in MetLife, that's Demario Douglas. Pop, of course, had that fumble earlier in the game, was benched from that point on. Every player that spoke at the podium so far today was asked about him. All support, all saying they've spoken to him, try to get him out of that, give him some advice. What does that reaction from the locker room and the support we're hearing from about Demario Douglas say to you about this team, and maybe what Bill Belichick has to do and wake up?
Yeah, really high praise and really kind of specific praise too. It's not what you would expect to hear from veteran teammates about a 6th-round rookie who made a mistake like this. I mean, Mac Jones and Hunter Henry and Ramondre Stevenson have all said that they have a ton of confidence in Demario Douglas, who also obviously lost the fumble in the first quarter against Miami, didn't play the rest of the way on offense. The last time that happened with a Patriots player was Ramondre Stevenson, his rookie year, 2021, lost a fumble in week 1, and then basically didn't play for about 2 months. He was a healthy scratch for 3 straight games, didn't really work his way into the offense until November. But the situations aren't exactly identical. Stevenson was coming off a pretty rough training camp that year. He came in out of shape, which he's admitted. Also had some ball security problems in the preseason. Douglas was one of the top performers of any Patriots player in training camp. I think he's shown a ton of maturity, a ton of accountability, and he's clearly won the respect of both his teammates and some of his coaches. I mean, you heard what Bill O'Brien said about him the other day. Even he said, we have a ton of confidence in Pop. So I don't think it's going to be a Stevenson type situation where it takes him until mid-November to get back in the mix. I think that, I mean, from a Patriots perspective, you have to hope that it was only kind of a one-game punishment and he's back in the mix this week, because honestly, the Patriots need him. Yeah. I mean, it says more about their roster than it does about Douglas. I think the fact that they're relying so much on a sixth-round rookie and that not playing a sixth-round rookie was such a kind of whatever controversy. It's been such a storyline this week, but they do need him. They need his juice. They need his explosiveness, and I do expect to see him back in the field this week.
Yeah, my thing with Pop Douglas, this is a guy, you mentioned it, sixth-round rookie that's done everything right every step of the way. Fumbles happen, and we've all heard it. Ball security is job security and can be unforgivable, but it's to the point. He's been the guy. We go back to week 1 in their season opener against the Eagles. 4 catches, 40 yards, a chain mover, plenty of targets his way. And this is a guy. This is a group of players on the outside that needs those playmakers, especially as they come up. You're going to face Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed and a really, really good front seven on defense.
Yeah, even in the 2 catches that he had before his benching the other day, showed some explosiveness after the catch, showed some run after catch ability. I looked at the stats after the game. He played 6 offensive snaps, caught 2 passes, still finished second on the team in yards after catch, behind only Devontae Parker in this game. He brings an element that nobody else really in this receiving core has shown, which is why he needs to be involved, and he needs to be very much back in the rotation here in week 3.
Offensive line looking healthy, secondary getting healthy. Hopefully we see Pop Douglas and the receiving core out there full force as much as possible. I'm going to bring a different element to this one. I'm going to put you on the spot. I don't know if you thought about it. Do you have a final score prediction in your head yet for this Sunday?
Oh, we did this on the podcast earlier today with myself and Dakota Randall. This screams weird score game to me. I had 26-12. I think it's going to be a defensive touchdown, maybe a safety, maybe a couple field goals in there. I think the Patriots win and win reasonably comfortably. But yeah, I think it's going to be an ugly game.
16-10. That's what it screams to me. Ugly, weird score, under whatever the total will be.
Yep.
Yeah, same thing, though. 2 elite defenses, 2 struggling offenses. We'll see how it goes. Yep. All right, that's it for George Bletchley and Zach Cox. Make sure to stay locked on NESN.com, NESN's YouTube page, NESN 360 for full coverage from here throughout.
PNC Bank, helping to make banking easier.